Nice. That's it. Hi, I'd like to call the Winnacunnet School Board June 14th, 2023, and I'd like to call it to order. And if we could rise and do the Pledge of Allegiance. Luke, you want to lead us in that?
Yeah.
Thanks.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'll open public comment at 6:31. Do we have any public comment? All right, if not, we'll leave it open for 30 minutes. Next one, we'll have Winnacunnet Pride. That'll be Luke.
Yeah, so for a lot has been happening with sports recently, especially for like tennis. We had Polina Makarenko, and she won state singles, and her and Stella Sabini won states doubles. And the team was runner-up for their division's state game, and then our softball team was state runner-ups as well.
Awesome.
Last weekend. We had graduation on Friday, and for fun, like a couple of clubs are holding fundraisers to end up the year. Best Buddies tonight, they're having fundraiser at Margarita's in Exeter, and the class of 2026 is their student council is holding a community event fundraiser, and right now students are finishing up with final exams and hoping for the end of the year.
Hoping to make it through, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Anybody else have any Winnacunnet Pride they want to share? All right, then at this point, you? No,
Well,
you can wait, go.
We can wait, we'll wait till I'll just include it in my report.
Okay, got it. The minutes for May 16th, regular meeting, any corrections that need to be made? If not, can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the Winnacunnet School Board meeting minutes from Tuesday, May 16th, 2023.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
I'm
You have an abstention here.
Okay. Nope,
Nope.
right.
4-0
Great,
vote.
thank you.
Yep.
And then we have the minutes for May 24th, special meeting.
I can make a motion to approve the minutes from the May 24th special meeting.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Who was
All
there,
those-
just the three of us?
I think
so.
Yep.
Was, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes. Thank you.
And then
Two
Two
abstentions.
abstain.
Perfect. Thank you. At this time, we'd like to have, we're gonna have a presentation. Do you want to introduce?
Sure, before we do that, I do want to introduce to you, it's been a full year, but Amy Tarian, our special ed director, is here this evening, so I just want to introduce Amy to us.
Hi, Amy. Welcome and thank you.
But then tonight's presentation is going to be about the unified sports. So we have some teachers here, Brandon Albert and Olivia Frosch, that will lead us off, and some parents and students.
Thank you. I'm going to start with two of my least favorite things to do are speaking in public and being recorded. So I do have some notes so I don't ramble and respect your time. Thanks for letting us come and present today. I'm Brandon Albert. This is Olivia Frosch.
Hi.
We are unified sports coaches at Winnacunnet High School. So we just wanted to share a little bit about what unified sports is. And you'll notice we passed around some articles that have been in the paper, a letter from Holmes family that's also included there, and some other awards and things that we've received. So Unified Sports started in 2019, my first year here. Slow down, Bill. Get my cue there. I had poked around a little bit the fall of my first year here to ask if that was, I couldn't understand why it wasn't a thing here, because it is a very impactful thing that I've seen in a number of schools that I've worked at. And I'd heard that there was some talk about it, but it never really got off the ground. So I went went to Mr. Boone and I asked him if this is something that he would be interested in helping me get started. And thankfully, within a couple of weeks, we had a schedule and a team. And it took very little to recruit the 15 original people that you see here in this supportive staff. So from that original 15, we now have 50 plus athletes that participate year-round. We did a year of unified basketball, and then we, in 2022, we started unified soccer, and then 2023, Coach Frosch started the unified track program. Next one, I believe. So some things that we wanted to highlight. This is at Unified Sports Day. It'll be one of the things we quickly talk about. We have 8 NHIAA senior scholar athletes. That's Tyler helping Mr. Bood. He's also not a fan of public speaking, but Tyler helped him through that. Those are 7 of our 8 scholar athletes that traveled to Concord to receive their awards. We are at approximately 90% scholar athletes across our programs. Next one, Bill. We have 30 students that got their first varsity letter through Unified Sports. We have 2 alumni that are currently planning on being special educators that were partners through our program. We've had the first athlete nominated for Athlete of the Week in Seacoast Online, Michael Murphy. We didn't do nearly as well getting the votes for him as we did Jason for Baseball Player of the Week. and that is me dressed as Randy Macho Man Savage, and the other wrestler behind me is not dressed. That's Mr. Boo. That's my daughter in the front. She joined us for the Penguin Plunge. We have, in 2 years, as a program and through the support of Winnacunnet High School, raised over $12,000 for Special Olympics New Hampshire. Ms. LaFond, you jumped in with us the first year. So this year was close to $7,500 that we raised for Special Olympics of New Hampshire. So not only have we had the opportunity to do that, but as a community, we're giving back to the people that have supported us and helped us. With Unified, thanks to Ms. Frederick's help, we were featured on New Hampshire Sports page. They came and did a live broadcast of one of our games. And if you haven't had the opportunity to see it, I recommend you watch it. If you haven't come to a game, Mr. Haley did a fantastic job filling the gaps. The pace is not quite what a high school game would be, but the way he called the game was incredible, and the publicity we had. And one really special moment at the end, one of our student athletes got his attention after he interviewed a few of us. He said, hold on. So he heard him, one that doesn't typically speak in front of groups, and he just wanted to get the message across that it's not about winning or losing, because we hadn't lost that game, a very close game, but it's having fun. So look up the video, watch it, just especially the last piece of it. It's pretty incredible. You would not have known that we lost that game.
No.
Unless you're talking to Coach Frosch, she knows when we lose. We have had now 2 faculty unified games with soccer and basketball. We are undefeated. Despite Mr. McGowan's hat trick, we were able to weather that, and as you can see, we were full defense on this day. We were going to make sure she didn't score. But just, again, community building. We have just been so blessed by the support of the administration, the student body, the faculty, to just be able to do whatever we want and grow. And you'll see the number of opportunities that we've had for our partners and athletes to have time to interact. I think that's all I have for that one. Next one. This is Unified Sports Day. This is the first time they've done it since I've been here. COVID shut that down for a while. We had 6 schools that participated at Dover High School. It's just a day of fun and sports with all of the unified sports teams and the adult participants of Special Olympics in New Hampshire. And a number of our partners and athletes went. We, first year we weren't fully prepared. We didn't take all of them because we didn't want to overwhelm them. You'll see if you've ever been a part of it, there's no school that gets the draw that we have and the participation and the fan support that we have. So it has been incredible across the board. We are now a unified champion school, recognized for our commitment to inclusive environment. What's the next slide? Oh, it's just a picture. You're up.
Go to the next one.
Oh, I had a slide. I didn't tell you about that one.
That's all right.
That's a senior banquet. You can see these guys find each other and they find a way to hang out. And this was Shane Trombley recruiting votes at lunch for Jason Pinso for Baseball Player of the Week, which he won. Shane was going around with a QR code to make sure every single one of his classmates at every single lunch voted for his buddy Jason. That's it.
Congratulations.
Oh, I added that one too. I didn't tell you.
All right, so we can listen to Brandon and myself go on and on for hours, I'm sure, but we decided that it might be better for you to hear from one of our athletes who did a segment in the WHTV. It's phenomenal, so we wanted you guys to be able to see this.
What are unified sports?
So our first unified team was created in 2019. It was the basketball team. Mr. Albert, he had an idea. He wanted to get his students more involved. So he made it happen.
Unified sports are a collaboration between students with disabilities and without disabilities. It's an NHIAA recognized sport. They come together to compete against other teams in New Hampshire.
In 2019, Mr. Albert gathered a group of students of varying abilities and formed the first WHS Unified Basketball team. As one of the school's special education teachers, he saw a need for a program to foster social interactions among his students and connect them with their peers. The athletes play to their own abilities and the partners are there on the court to support them. Partners can move the ball up the court, but only the athletes are allowed to shoot and score. Similar to basketball, soccer partners are not allowed to score. Track does have some events where partners from each team can compete. If you have ever been to a unified event, you know that the school board was not the focus. Don't get me wrong, we love to win. But above all is making sure that the players on both teams get to experience a basket goal, personal best, and most importantly, experience that feeling that you only get from being part of the team. In 2019, Jake Fredericks was the first partner to sign up for Unified Basketball as a freshman. Now a senior, he has played all 4 years.
So my freshman year, I got nominated by Larry Francor to join the team, and obviously right away I said yes. I know I've met so many great friends through Unified Sports, and I love them coming up to me during the day. And without that, I think my days would be a lot worse. Before Unified started, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and then when I joined Unified my freshman year, I really fell in love working with students with special needs, and I really think that might be a career in my future.
Speaking from personal experience, the camaraderie and social skills that I had gained from participating in Unified Sports has played an important part of my high school career. It has helped me become more comfortable with communication and social interactions. Being on the team has taught me to be a better student and is preparing me for whatever the future holds. This year, we have the most graduating seniors yet, and they are some pretty big shoes to fill. Shake has some great advice for everyone wondering if they have what it takes.
You don't need to be an athlete at all to play unified sports. You just need to be there, be committed, have fun, work hard, and just have a good time with all the players.
To sign up, you can email Coach Albert at balbert@warriors.winnacunnet.org for next year's basketball and soccer teams, or Coach Foss at ofoss@warriors.winnacunnet.org for track season, which starts on April 18th. This is Tom Reno for WHTV, and I'll see you on the track.
So that at the end was obviously Tyler, our narrator. If you want to just go to the last slide. It's Mr. Albert to lead.
Maybe.
I know. Oh, it was there. There we go. So we post, Mr. Albert runs it, but he posts updates of all of our events on our Twitter at Winna or Unified. So if you guys want to keep up to date with us, please give it a follow to see some cool stuff. So we have Miss Fredericks with us. She is a parent, and she would like to read something for you guys.
Hi, everyone. My name is Cheryl Fredericks. My son is Jacob Fredericks, and he just graduated this year, on Friday. He wanted to be here, but he's at practice for football right now in Manchester. He's driving home, just hoping he was going to get here. He asked me to come in his place because it's really important to him. So what I thought was, because I couldn't possibly put into words what unified sports has meant to him, he wrote for his college essay in the fall about what unified sports has meant to him over the last 4 years. He is going to be attending Phillips Exeter in the fall for a post-grad year, and he's going to be playing football and baseball. So please bear with me because I might get emotional. It was freshman.
Thank you, Leslie. I'm not alone up there. I'm trying to fight it here.
It was freshman year, and I was playing pickleball in gym class when my gym teacher called me over. He wanted to talk to me about something. During our conversation, he explained that the school was trying to start a unified basketball team. At first, I had no idea what unified basketball was, and I was even more confused as to why he was telling me. He later explained to me that is where people with and without intellectual disabilities play together on the same team. He went on to further say that he was planning to nominate me as a helper. As a freshman in high school, I did not truly know what to think, and I did not understand the importance of my nomination. When I went home, I talked with my mom, who told me that I should be proud of the nomination and should definitely accept it. Making this decision and saying yes to joining the unified basketball team was truly the best decision I have made in my life. It helped me find my life's purpose. Working with kids with special needs came very natural to me, and I found great joy going to practices and games to work with them. As the season progressed, I developed stronger relationships with all the players, and connecting with them became much easier for me. These past 4 years since joining the unified team, I have learned so much about myself. The most personal growth that I have gained from working with kids with special needs is developing greater patience. Growing up, I was always playing sports, going on vacation, and never took a step back to appreciate everything I had in my life. But when you work with kids with special needs, you need to be patient and slow down. Working with the unified team helped me take a step back from my own life, slow down, and really appreciate what I have. Another really important lesson that I learned was to smile more. Yes, I know that may sound pretty obvious, but it is the truth. If you've never been around a kid with special needs, they will make you feel so happy. You will never stop smiling. This really rubbed off on me in a big way. I started to realize that I wanted to be just like them. I wanted people to feel happy and excited to be around me. I truly believe that if I was never called over in gym class, my life would not be the same. The amount of joy I get in life from working with kids with special needs is second to none. If I hadn't built these relationships over the past 4 years, my life would feel incomplete. So, thank you.
Wow. Thank you. I still
still have the tissues from graduation. I can start
Thank you,
passing
guys. One last
down.
time. And speaking of graduation, we had a student that is involved in functional academics that was having a difficult time emotionally through that. Like graduation is a difficult time, and Jake happened to be sitting right behind him and reached across, rubbed his shoulders, words of encouragement, and had he not been there, that experience would not have been the same. So Jake is an incredible kid, and he made being a unified partner a cool thing to do, and the program has taken off. So thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it, and your support.
I think we have some guests here. Does the board want to maybe take a moment?
This
to-
is
Yes,
Joey
please.
O'Connor, and this is Alex Holmes and their family.
Yeah.
They both play. Joey played unified basketball, and Alex was a unified soccer player. Ms. Nato, you might remember he kept you from getting anywhere near the ball.
He's a good defender.
We love it. Would you guys like to speak? Come on up. Yes, come on up. We'd love it.
All right. Hello. My name is Joseph O'Connor. I also started freshman year along with Jacob Fredericks and the whole unified team. Albert pulled me over freshman year, and he talked about the unified basketball team starting up. Obviously, I couldn't say no. Helping other people has always been my thing. Ever since I was little, I always enjoyed helping other people, dedicating service to others. I recently got my Eagle Scout.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank
Huge.
you. I mean, whether it's opening a door or doing like little small things, I mean, just seeing people smile has always just been something that's always made me happy on the inside. It's always just what I look forward to every day to make someone else smile. So when Albert brought this up with me, I thought it sounds like a great idea. We invested time, practice, games, made some friendships. One big memory I had over the course of my 4 years playing unified basketball was we had a kid named Tyler Cody. He was not able to shoot a basketball properly at like the standard 10-foot basketball height or whatever. And me and Jake Fredericks figured out a way to help him actually make a basket without us actually doing it. And I think that was probably the most memorable moment I've ever had. The smile on his face, grinning, I mean, that's just a memory that's never gonna leave me personally. I'm pretty sure you remember that moment too, don't you? Yeah.
Very much.
There's also countless other moments that I've obviously made and bonded with every other partner. Whether it's be helping people learn how to dribble or shoot or learn how to communicate with each other, whether it's like passing the ball or asking for it. Little small things makes the game a lot better and makes the friendship between each other a lot stronger. And I feel like over the course of the 4 years has definitely gave me a peace of mind that helping others is always going to stick with me for the rest of my life. So I just wanted to speak on behalf of Albert and Coach Frosch that they did an amazing job, and I couldn't have been more happy with where I am today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can I ask what your plans are?
So in the fall, I'm hoping to go to Great Bay for business administration.
Yeah.
I might get a side job of helping kids with special needs.
Mm-hmm.
That's always been a job in my mind. But as of right now, my main thing is going in for plumbing and heating.
Oh, excellent.
So I'm definitely going to include helping others in that somehow, whether it be getting a job for it or just finding maybe like a babysitting or doing something along the lines where helping people is an option. That's definitely going to be something that's going to be in my life.
That's great. Thank you so much for all the time you did it.
And
Thank
good luck.
you. Would you like to speak? Please. Do I need another tissue though, guys? Come on. Probably, yeah. That's okay.
We're out.
I'm Mary O'Connor. I'm Joe's mom, and when I got your email on Monday, I put it on our calendar, but I forgot to tell Joey until around 6 o'clock. So this is a kid who is in the middle of a relaxing video game when I'm like, Joey, we gotta go to the skipper. So I just want you to know that everything he said was from the heart, because honestly, I forgot to tell him until I got home and looked at my calendar and thought, oh my God, we have to be here. So it was from his heart. And if I could just add one more thing, that just to show you how far-reaching Unified is, I was at work, I don't know, about a month ago, and one of my coworkers came up to me, and she said that her neighbor is the parent of someone on the Unified basketball team. And her neighbor was talking about how Joey had helped her child. And so here I am at work on hall duty, of all things, and this person came to tell me how much their son had benefited from being on Unified. And I didn't expect, I guess what I'm trying to say is that it is so far-reaching, so much far-reaching than we even realize, that I was so happy to hear that, it's gone beyond just the basketball court or the track of Winnacunnet High School. It's out there in the community. People are so aware of what this wonderful program is doing, and thank you so much. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have had the opportunity to watch. You guys get to play. I'll watch. And
I
it
might be watching next year too.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It is amazing to me, this whole program, what you do and bringing the kids together. But what I noticed the first time that I watched one of the basketball games was the amount of students that came to support it, that literally just made me swallow, like I can now. But to Mr. Aboud for running with it as fast as you did, for you guys for what you do, my hat's off and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And does the board want to take a brief break to
To like
meet and greet?
start to close themselves. Yeah, could we
Tamara
just
wants
take
to
a
talk
minute?
first.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's probably no surprise to anybody here that I've been a longtime advocate for people with special needs. And I too get choked up, but I've sort of turned a corner on some of that. And I'm hoping that perhaps in the future that the partners and the people who instruct the partners can maybe just plant a little seed about taking Unified into their life after high school. And by that I mean, if you're in business, if you're running a business, if you're championing something, and somebody comes in to apply for a job, right? And all of a sudden you're like, I remember a kid like this. And I hope that you will give them a fair shot. And not just making a basket, but giving them a job. Because I think that's how we will truly become unified. So, okay, enough said. I just had to say that. It's a challenge, and I'm here to challenge people, and I think we can do this in the greater community as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Tamara.
Thank you, Tamara.
Yeah, can we take a minute? I just want to say thanks to people. So we're just gonna
Meet and greet.
meet and greet for a second. You can shut it off if you want. We're lucky because we get to learn from
He
him.
gets to learn from us, and everyone wins. Yep, everyone wins.
I'm not now, but I was thinking about, I played indoor soccer and stuff as an adult, and there are times when it would have been much more rewarding and fun to play, right? If it was a unified adult team, rather than some of the.
I was just
Totally,
thinking
then
that
the
would be
competitive,
perfect
like,
place for
yeah.
me. Unified sports is perfect. I can read the non-athletic of us.
Why not make it human?
Right.
As opposed to,
Yeah. Okay, so we'll come back on record. Yes, we'll reconvene. Yeah, go ahead and follow that one with the superintendent report. I dare you.
I'll keep it short.
Short and sweet.
And did you want to do a last call for public comment?
Oh, yes, that's right. We're gonna close, any last call for public comment? I think we had enough, so we're good. So we're gonna close public comment now at 7:09. Thank you.
Okay. So I know I gave kind of a full report at the joint board meeting at the end of May. So tried to keep this to sort of since then activities. Obviously, it's the end of the year. You've heard from Luke about graduation, finals, transition. We're gearing up for summer programs. In our office, we're trying to finalize all the hiring for next year, which we'll deal with a little bit later in this meeting as well. I had the opportunity to attend SST graduation, as did Trisha, which was just a great event. And nice to see that the vast majority, if not every student in that room, was able to say, here's what I'm doing next, right? Knew their next steps or plans for career, whether that was military or an internship or going directly to work or going directly to school. They all knew what their plan was. We are gearing up also for summer, so our SAU-wide leadership retreat will be the 15th through the 17th of August. And that's our opportunity to start planning for the upcoming year. Some of that time will be spent on Portrait of a Learner, trying to move on those goals and objectives that we hope to bring before the joint board in the fall. We'll also spend some time on supervision and evaluation, some time getting up to speed on all of the legislative changes that happened this year. Budget was just approved by the legislature late last week. So we'll see what happens, where the numbers kind of come out for us as all of that unfolds. And we'll be starting to unpack all of those legislative changes, as I just mentioned. So I can end there. Graduation was lovely, and my thanks to the high school staff and administration. And I'm sure Bill will mention it, but just acknowledgement of our retiring educators here as well. And thanks to our staff and families for supporting a great year for our students.
Thank you. Curriculum and Instruction Assessment Report. That's in our reports. David is at Southampton graduation, correct?
He is.
All right, so we can read that. Student Services Report.
Yes, so Dr. Toomey is at her grandson's event this evening, but one thing that she wanted to make sure I mentioned that wasn't included in her report was about the Connect Youth Leader Program. So we did receive a grant from NAMI New Hampshire, the National Alliance for the Mentally Ill in New Hampshire, to do a youth leader training program on suicide prevention. So we're working on scheduling that for the fall, but it will be roughly 25 students and educators learning how to do peer outreach around suicide prevention, how to identify risks and be a support and steer people to the right direction, in the right direction when they're in need of support. So that's exciting. Also in her report, she talked about the McKinney-Vento Spring Conference that Tally Westerberg leads for the state. So thanks to Tally for coordinating that. Really an opportunity for folks from across the state to better understand the McKinney-Vento homeless assistance and supports for families in transition or with housing insecurity. And one other development that we're working on for next year is a partnership with the Cook Center for Human Connection. So through that, we've been able to post some free resources for parents on our website that have lots of talking points and resources and videos. And there's a format where you can sort of email a therapist and get a response within 24 hours to your question. And we also are hoping, or it looks like we will be starting for next year, a parent coaching opportunity. So we know that we have lots of folks who are on wait lists for mental health support. We've talked about that a few times this year. So the Cook Center has a partnership where families can access kind of virtual coaching 30 minutes a week over the course of the school year to get some support, perhaps while they're waiting for a wait list or to work on specific goals. It's anonymous, it's at no cost to them, through a subscription across the SAU. So
That's great.
we'll push that information out as we get closer to the start of the school year, but just another resource. And finally, we have hired Annalise Dunn, who will be our new SAU social worker, through the donation that was accepted by the Joint Board late May. Annalise has worked both for Riverbend Community Mental Health in Concord, and is a community outreach worker for Department of Youth and Family Services in Connecticut, but she's been the school social worker for the Ellis School in Fremont, New Hampshire for the last 5 years as well. So she's got both the clinical and school-based social work background. So we look forward to welcoming her.
Awesome. Thank you.
You
This
are
is the
welcome.
Seabrook donation?
This is the Brook.
The Brook donation, right?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Principals report.
So the good news is there's 2 days left for the school year. But it was last week. It was a very busy and exciting week. Started off with the evening school graduation, then followed by the scholarship and awards program, and then last Friday we had the graduation ceremony. So overall, it was an exciting time and uneventful. A little bit of a few raindrops last Friday, but everything was fine. That's basically it from that standpoint. As far as the numbers, I mean, I've got the numbers of the graduates in the report, and everybody's on their way. We have received 2 donations, each of $200, one from the Hampton Chamber, and then the other one from the Kennybunk Savings, and that is for, throughout the year, we've had teacher appreciation breakfasts. We are going to end the year on Friday with our teacher appreciation cookout.
Great.
So they will be doing that for us. I think hopefully this is the last time I will see the COVID-19 update in any messages. But for the last couple of weeks, we've had no report, so I think that's something that we will get rid of. And then Saturday, the alumni luncheon, I believe it's 11:30 down at the Brook, and I've been attending that for the last several years, and it's well attended by alumni, typically anywhere between 75 to 90 alumni come, so it'll be fun. And I'll just I'll provide an update as far as the year for Winnacunnet. The other thing I did include in board docs was the Tri-M Music Honor Society newsletter, so it talks about everything they've done. And then the other thing, from the music standpoint, we're running a modern band class next year. Ken Martin applied for a grant, and we received that grant, and so he just sent me an email that he just bought the following equipment with that grant, and it doesn't cost me anything, but a couple guitars they purchased, a drum kit, a couple of amps, and a microphone, so we'll be well prepared for that. And then the other thing this afternoon, we celebrated a legacy project for the retiring staff members, and then also the Eagle celebration for those staff that have over 20 years of service. And again, I was thinking about the legacy, but listening to these students in the unified basketball, unified sports, I mean, the students are creating the legacy here. So I think, what the students do, what the staff do here is great, and we'll just continue building on that. But we had 3 retirees, and then we also have, currently on staff now, we have 37 staff members that have over 20 years of service, and we just added 6 more. So, close to 50% of our staff, or just a little bit under, have been here for a long time. And again, it just shows the culture of Winnacunnet High School and what it means to everybody for the success of the students. So it's a great place to work, and thank you for your support throughout the year.
It was amazing watching that today and seeing the amount, like, they all get up and I'm watching the line get longer and longer, and I look back and there's, there's way more people standing up here with 20 plus years than there were sitting here. So like I said, it's amazing to see, and I love the fact that they want to stay here, you know? And I also want to point out too that we have so many that are graduates that are working here too. You know what I mean? They come back. So it says something to the culture here, and I'm proud of it. Next one.
It's
Matt, finance report, please.
I'll keep it quick. So there are 2 reports included on board docs, the fiscal year to date 2023 expenditure and revenue reports. We are nearing the end of the fiscal year, and there really is very little variation on either the expenditure and revenue report from last month. So assuming there are no significant changes within the next couple of weeks, fiscal year ends on June 30th. We are tracking to finish the year with an unreserved fund balance of approximately $250,000. So this means we will not need to withdraw funds from any of our expendable trusts, and that balance will be returned to the town to offset property tax assessment. So you'll note that that figure is slightly lower than prior years. Typically, we return closer to $500,000 to the town. However, this year we had some significant costs, both in special education and facilities, with some necessary repairs with our HVAC system that did affect that final balance. Be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Matt, the HVAC repairs, was that ESSER monies, or we spent all our ESSER monies as far as those?
So we have a few HVAC projects that are, well, through a few sources. So one is through ESSER. Those grant monies we did have planned for one wing,
so they're
that
encumbered.
project. Then we had a warrant article that we are funding another HVAC, but those are the replacement plans. The repairs I'm referring to is our controls reach end of life. So we have some old basics controls, and we are transitioning to Siemens controls. However, that we were hoping to do that as we replaced HVAC systems. However, some of those went, so we had to fix those now. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Next, we have continuing business, which is policy second read and adoption.
So there are 23 policies total. 10 of them are recommended for withdrawal, primarily because they don't exist in the New Hampshire School Board Association recommended policies any longer. They've either been subsumed in other policies or were considered obsolete. And the rest are updates primarily in the instruction section of our policy manual. I've not received any comments or questions since our last meeting, but I'm happy to take any.
Did anybody have any questions on them? No? Great. Well, I mean, okay, thank you. That didn't sound too good, sorry. All right, then could I get a motion to approve the adoption and withdrawal as recommended?
I'll make a motion to approve the adoption withdrawal as recommended for the 23 policies presented.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. Our athletic contract, second read and adoption. I know we had some issues with it when we first did those get.
So, Mr. Booth is here, but we did speak, so I think some of the proposed change would be for that second bullet for a second offense. That last sentence was if there was less than 25%. So, now we're calculating percentages and things like that. So, our recommendation would be that If it occurs, instead of 25%, it would be within the last 2 weeks of the season. If the 2 weeks of the season is remaining, then that would extend into the next season.
Okay. So can I ask a question?
Oh.
So say they played softball, it's the last 2 weekends, 2 weeks of softball.
Right.
They don't play only sport they play is softball. That means they're suspended the entire next season of softball, like over almost a year later? Is that what that means? Or does that just mean it says the next season the student participates in?
Yeah, that'd be great. Could you tell by our looks? What are we doing? Yeah.
I think that is kind of what we want to decide on here. It according to that language, yes, it would be the next season the student participates in. We're talking about a second offense within a 365-day period, right? If the student only plays softball, that would mean this said student would have had to have been in violation of the substance abuse policy twice during that same softball season, right? If they only play softball, that means they weren't, under contract during the soccer season because they only play softball. So that, it's, to me, I think the biggest thing with this policy is it's something that we are all going to be in favor of, and something that we're all gonna, because we all have to enforce it. So I think that's a big piece here. So I'm open to
So I have another question
rewriting
about
the
this
language
part.
in it too. Yeah.
What was my question? Sorry. Oh, do they, so say they do cross country and they get in trouble in the last 2 weeks of cross country. It's their second offense, this scenario, because it's the second offense that's kind of the most confusing, I think.
Yeah.
But they also play basketball. So now, are they fully suspended the entire season of basketball, or only, okay.
So currently
I
our,
don't think I'm in agreement with that.
I mean, currently our policy is a second offense is an entire year suspension. So we I think all agree that that is a bit harsh.
Yeah.
And so this is what we came up with. So I mean, yeah, I'm open to other ideas.
I'm just curious, sort of back to the one sport athlete, what's to preclude them, say, if they had a second offense during softball season, to join the basketball team and serve their suspension in a sport they don't really, I mean, I'm worried that we're getting a little bit caught up in the numbers as opposed to the bettering of a situation for an athlete. I mean, if you've got 25%, do you get 25% on the other end? I'm a little concerned that if we start to narrow in and make the law or make the policy so specific that there's not going to be room for empowerment, truly.
What do you mean by rule for empowerment? Room, brother.
Well, if you're supposedly losing 25% of a season, and then because that's not enough to fulfill the penalty, is 100%, you wind up losing 125% of athletic opportunity. Would it be feasible to make that back end number, I don't want to say malleable, but
I think the tricky part, when you're talking about 25% or 2 weeks or any number, it's different for every season.
it is.
I mean, 2 weeks of a baseball season is way different than 2 weeks of a football season, which is different than 2 weeks of a basketball. I mean, in a basketball or ice hockey season, you could go 2 weeks without a game during Christmas break.
Right.
So, like a 2 week suspension there, 10 days, it's just murky.
Why not just say the remainder of the season, they're participating and be done with that? Like, why does it have to carry
That's an
over?
option. It's just that you then, you know,
It's not much of a penalty.
if a
Well, it could
athlete,
be, I mean,
it could be, but it could also be an athlete gets caught the night of their last game
Right.
in a season on a team that's not making the playoffs, and then there is no penalty. If it's the remainder of that season, they're suspended for that last game.
And I think we have to
Right,
remember
not
too
that
that it's the
first
second, it's a second offense, so.
Within
like-
within a year,
Right,
within the
a
same year.
So to me, I guess I understand the importance of student athletes and being involved in the sports, and we don't wanna take that quote unquote away completely. But in the same token, it's a privilege to play. The rules are.
Agreed.
And if you've, 2 strikes in a year is after the first one, I would think you would not want to ever get in trouble again, I guess is my thought process on this. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, there has to be something.
And
Yeah, I'm wondering
historically,
if it-
we've only had
Right, we've
2
only
or
had
3
two.
instances of this.
Right,
So-
of second offenses in a year. There's only been
And
3,
our
right?
policy has been second offense cumulative.
Right.
So, I mean, in the, 6 years, 5 years as athletic director, there's only been 2 students that we've had in these last 5 years that have had a second offense in their entire high school career, 4-year career. It just so happened that we've had a couple that was within that same year too, you know, and so that's why we've, you know, kind of been looking at
I kind of-
reducing the harshness of that second offense.
And I think I fall on the side of the cumulative versus the per sport. Because I think if you're going to be not allowed to participate in athletics, I think you serve your time and then you move on, as opposed to serving a little bit of time, having time off, and then serving, coming back to serve time. That doesn't seem to be
In terms of if somebody
productive to me.
were caught in the, you're talking about someone being caught at the end of a season
Yeah,
in a second offense.
in a second offense. I say.
That's kind of
say-
what we're hung up on, right?
Yeah.
Is that what we're trying to
well,
figure out?
that's
Yeah,
the trickiest one, I think.
it is, I agree.
Yeah, because the other ones seem fair and reasonable, and then
Right, so if it's before the last 2 weeks of the
unless
season.
you know,
They
there are
just get the rest of the
circumstances that
season.
warrant specific barring from that sport. You know what I mean? I
Right, but
feel like
those are
there's-
down lower, I think, right? Like
Gross
stealing,
misconduct.
gross misconduct.
Yeah, we're-
like sexual
We're simply
harassment.
talking the
This is
substance abuse
This
policy.
is just substance abuse second.
Right, which is
So-
something you need to kind of get a hold of when it's, after it's happened, right?
Right, but I mean, I think we kind of ended up being focused on the single season athlete, where, I mean, we're talking about 365 days in a year, so if they're playing multiple sports, in most cases, that student is gonna be multiple sports.
Right.
Like Mr. Boot had said, if it happens with just a single sport athlete, it's happening within a period of 2 to 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly,
Right.
There's an issue.
there's an issue, and,
Well, it
you
could
know,
be at the end of the last year and the beginning of this year. That would still be within 365. I know it's nitpicky.
yeah.
It's just
I'm
within.
glad you see it though.
No, I'm just
But-
saying,
but in
a
that
day when
instance-
we're talking
Comes out
about
with the best.
teens, you know, youth suicide and suicide prevention, athletics it's social, it's what drives kids to come to school who maybe aren't engaged in school, it keeps them motivated to attend, it puts positive adults in their life. So there's a lot of benefits that, to me, when we're talking all the time about student mental health and the struggles and concerns about suicide, training students to be peer leaders on suicide, I don't know, I want them to, I understand there has to be consequences. I don't necessarily agree with, in the presence of alcohol, being worthy of a consequence of, you know,
And-
missing an entire season of sports. I guess that's what everybody does. I don't know. It's just
And
hard.
yeah, it's a difficult situation. I think that, you know, Bill or I necessarily, or anybody agree with that. It's just that when the reality of it is when there is an underage party with substances that underage adults shouldn't be consuming, the police don't look at who was consuming and who wasn't. They simply send us a list. Northampton PD sends me a list of these 15 kids were caught at so-and-so's house, there was alcohol there, and and if they're athletes, I don't know how we parse through that. I have no idea how, because when you meet with the athletes, I mean, of course, I wasn't drinking, right? I was just there. I was just whatever. And so, I mean, I don't agree. I mean, we also struggle with that.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the alternative is. I don't know what the solution or the workaround that piece
It's just
is.
if you're not an athlete and the police come,
Mhm.
I don't know. To me, it's like it's a crime and it's a police matter. Why is it a purview of the school to even make a
Right.
decision about it? Because
Okay, yeah.
Well, we have
other kids at the party.
But that's
don't
the other
have
side of it, is we don't
consequences.
have an athletic contract like this, right? That would be the other side. It would be if the
Well, it
police.
has to have some of it though. Has to have gross misconduct or sexual harassment and things
But what's
like
the
that.
difference? The bottom line is alcohol and substance abuse it's illegal for one,
Mhm.
but it's also, we're asking these are kids that want to represent our school with, and how they're doing it, and there's rules, and I think if we just if we don't enforce some of them, do you know what I mean? It's like, I know we're talking about the student mental health and that whole bit, but that ties into it too. If you've got a child who's a second offense on a substance abuse issue, there's a bigger issue that the sports is not gonna help that. This is a child who needs more than being able to go play in the game. Do you know what I mean? I think it's just go ahead.
So I know right now the first offense is 15 days can be reduced to 10, right? So
Reduced
it's
to
3
10.
weeks, it can be reduced to 2 weeks. I think we're trying to look at some graduated consequences, right,
Mhm.
for the second offense. So are we talking 30 days, right?
Yeah, maybe a fixed number.
Are you
of
looking at
days.
something more
so
along
there's
those
no room
lines?
for
Right.
for
I
while
agree
there's
more with that.
X amount
30
of weeks
days.
left in the season, but if it's days. Also, I think, Leslie, what you were kind of leading into is I see here on first offense, and it says that they're gonna meet with a student assistance counselor. And I think that it was quietly said there's only been maybe 3 or 4 occurrences of a second offense in a year. So I'm thinking that we don't really see third and fourth. But as we start getting down to second, third, fourth offense, these to me are kind of signs of there might be something going on. So I don't think I'm so much fixated on what the actual consequence is. There should be a consequence. I think it should be cut and dry. It's a number of days. But I think that there should be something else on these second, third, fourth offenses that are kind of saying where can we get them a little bit of help? Not saying that any kid that gets caught twice at a party where there's alcohol has an alcohol problem. But they're putting themselves in high-risk situations when they're supposed to be representing the school. And for me, I think there needs to be a little bit of extra intervention there. Maybe it's not they meet with an assistance counselor at the first offense. Maybe that's you meet 30 times on the second offense, or whatever it may be, whatever we say. But I think there needs to be a little added support there.
I would agree.
Once
with
a
that.
week during the suspension.
Once a
or
week.
something.
Yeah.
Something. Because
Can the
then
school
we
offer
get down to
that?
third or fourth, and then we're all gonna sit here and say, something's come up, we have a fourth offense here, and then that's gonna be, this
Right.
person really needs some help, this kid needs.
I will
Help
say
them
We
one,
can
gonna do.
definitely offer, we can offer that, I mean, I think we would, whether or not we stated here or not. I mean, we want these students to change their behavior.
And that could be,
We just got hit by lightning, it's okay.
yeah. But
We're
couldn't
fine.
that
Yeah,
also
Griffin's just
be
putting the screen up.
addressed at the time you're,
if we lose,
what's the matter?
He put the screen down?
No, he said the
We're
weather put
Oh,
the
the
screen
weather
down.
put the screen down, okay.
We got another movie.
Yeah, there we go.
No, but I'm saying, after the first, I'm sure that they're gonna wanna talk to the coaches, to the principal, and that could be a time just to even bring it up if they need additional stuff. Definitely with the second offense, third, fourth.
so I will say that one of the complicating factors, right, of a suspension, particularly if it's carrying into another season, is that teams are being decided, right? And it's a lot to expect a coach can't hold a position open, right, for a student who's gonna miss 30 days of play. That's not a reasonable expectation for the coach or for the team. I think it winds up being unfair. So the end result is often gonna be that students do miss the next season.
Yeah, but it may
irrespective.
not too, you know. I mean,
It's possible.
That could be a consequence of not being able to participate in the tryouts or whatever. But I think I would feel better about just saying 30 days or whatever, if we say 30 days or 60 days or whatever the number comes down to. Rather than them just automatically losing the full other season, just like the 30 days.
With a certain amount of intervention
Right,
provided.
with the weekly,
Yeah,
like
with a
you said.
weekly counseling session, or check-in or something.
Something.
Yeah, and I think also when they get the original contract to take home and sign, that it's gone over with the parent and, you know, and that is.
Will they go to the meeting?
Well, no, because do they bring it home to sign?
We have the contract
Oh, you have
on registration, so when parents and students register, they have to digitally sign the contract.
Okay.
The handbook and the contract.
I have an idea. So, second offense violators will receive a suspension for the remainder of the current season they are participating in. Something about, 30 to 60 days, if it's in that, like, and/or is what I'm trying to say. Do you know what,
The rest of the season or 30 days?
Right, whichever is, right, that's what I'm
Greater-
saying, like, like, so that that kind of covers that one that's the last day, and they're just blowing off steam. Do you know what I mean?
Is 30 days
So
a
if you
little excessive, though? I'm
Is what
new here,
excessive?
as you know. Is 30 days a little excessive for what we're talking about here? I just think of that student who maybe is struggling. They're at a party, maybe they were drinking, got in trouble, and now we're taking away what may be providing their only source of hope or
Right.
camaraderie or whatever it may be.
The thing is, it's
I guess
we
I
don't-
will leave that up.
That's okay. No,
too.
just remember, it's a second offense,
Yeah.
and they know, and they're signed.
year.
The thing is, it's the same year in the second offense, and these are students that we hold accountable. We're lucky we have a lot of student, scholar athletes that got their grades up and they're doing it. Every kid and adult is going to make a mistake, and we get that. But I think for a second offense, there has to be something that holds them. Do you know what I mean?
So,
I
are
have
we
to say-
comfortable with that first line?
Yes, remainder of the season, yes.
So, we can come back, and I know,
I was just trying to look up when our August meeting is,
Yeah.
but I
because
can't
we,
get online right now.
because we bring the
So-
handbook back to you in the fall anyway to approve the actual handbook.
Yeah.
And do we wanna, I can work with, Meredith and Aaron as far as what a number of days for that
I do think it's important to get consensus
Yeah,
from
I
the
think we need
group,
to know,
though,
like, what we
because,
think of, yeah.
we're clearly all not in agreement on what that second offense should be, and we kind of need
I
to
think
come
we
to an
need to-
I think we're
agreement.
getting there.
I do too.
Well, yeah,
I do too. I think we
think
should
we
keep
need
talking
to-
about it.
Desiree,
But again,
And
I
I
think
wanna
it's,
say
can I
something.
address Desiree's
but I think
point?
it's only that last part of the season, so we just need to figure out, because that's why I said, the first sentence seems fine.
Right.
It's just, the question is, when does it end?
Well, you know-
25%, 2 weeks?
I was thinking 25% left in the season and why don't we just let it go? And just say they're done for the season and just start fresh the next year. I don't know, I think that would just simplify things. At the sake of 25%, I don't know,
So I think the challenge is if you're looking to try to have graduated consequences, and maybe you're not, but if you are, right, the first offense is 2 to 3 weeks, depending on whether or not they agree to meet with the substance
Right.
assistance counselor. Then a second offense is maybe only 10 days, right, if it happens at the end of the season.
oh,
So that's
See, then
that's
if
that's
yeah,
what
so
we're
if they
trying
have a
to
second
address.
offense within a year,
You
and
know,
it's, the second offense is 10 days left in the season.
I'm just
Desiree,
told.
I
Wait a
kind
minute,
of- I
violence was.
kind of agreed with you, for a long time on this conversation. I've been part of previous conversations. However, having had athletes in the school, I know how well communicated these policies on
Okay.
to the athletes. I know how strong the coaches feel, how much support there is in the school, that I'm kind of coming around to the, to the stronger, enforcement with some sort of graduated, offense and support. And I wasn't sure about that before because I wanted to throw, support behind the kids. But, they know, and we could go as far as highlighting, the new portion of the contract, say, make sure you look at this. This has changed. You've got to know this. Maybe, another initial right there that you've read the new policy. I don't know, but I feel pretty confident, in how it's enforced and managed.
Okay.
How strict we want to go may still be up for a little bit of debate, but I wouldn't worry about that.
Okay. No, I
that's just my
appreciate that.
opinion.
No, I appreciate that.
I think we're okay with, the violators will receive a suspension of the remainder of the current season they are participating in.
Or someone said, or
And
that,
up
or
to 30 to 60 additional days.
Right,
Or something.
like a 60-day thing, 30-day, what do you think, Aaron? Do you know what I'm trying to get at?
Yeah.
Whichever's more or less type deal, do you know what I mean? The rest of the season, every season is,
The rest of the season or 30 days.
right, that's what, like the rest of the
Whichever's
season,
greater. It would be whichever's
greatest.
greater, right?
Right,
Because
exactly.
if you had,
Yes.
if
That's
you
what
got
I'm
caught,
trying to say.
if your second offense was the second week of basketball season, you would then be out for the remainder of basketball
Right,
season.
which, yeah, and exactly, which.
But if your second offense was the very end of hockey season, then you would be suspended for however many days are left, and then however many days in baseball,
baseball, if you're the
that would get you to
Yep.
a full 30 days
Right.
of a suspension.
Yeah, that's
and
what I'm
that doesn't
thinking.
include the weekend. Like, how do you work if we did a 30-day thing with that?
I think we have to
we've
just
been,
do 30 days, don't we? Like
we just
30
go.
or
It
Yeah.
starts the
There's
day
practice-
that
there's
the
practices on weekends.
yeah
there's
sports are
practice,
going.
calendar
Yeah,
events,
it's just calendar
Including
days.
vacation.
Yep.
Yes, because you practice over
There's practices
vacation.
over
We have
vacation.
games over
Wanna be
vacation.
What vacation?
Yep.
Trying to make sure we all understand what we're talking
Right.
about.
Yeah.
But if we're going to do that, would we just say 30 days for the second offense?
I think cut 30 days, cut and dry
Because
seems reasonable.
because then
You're penalizing when it happens. You pick
some
yourself.
depending on when your second offense is, the consequence is much worse, or not even close to as bad,
Right.
right? Like it's
Yeah, so your first offense is 3, yeah, so.
So if your first offense is 10 days, then the second offense is 30,
Right.
I think that seems reasonable to me.
and then is the third offense a full season? You know what I'm saying?
Third
Or
offense, you're done, sorry.
Yeah.
I mean,
because
no,
it's in
but-
1 year.
I mean, we haven't had a third offense yet.
No, we haven't. I mean,
But our
and we've had
penalty is
3.
harsh, right? Like second offense
Which,
is a
no
full
offense
year.
means it works.
I
No
agree.
offense.
I agree.
Like, it's been hard. There's been a line in the sand, and we've had 2 second offenses in a year in what?
No, 2 second offenses in a career.
In a career.
Since
But,
in my
yeah.
5 years, we've had 2 people with a
Then-
second offense.
Right. So it's
Once
working.
they get the first offense, and I sit with the parents and the student and say, if this happens again, like this is the penalty. It's a full year, and they kind of look and they get it. They get it.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's my thing is, do we, well,
Well, can we just go 30 days and there's no buyback reduction, but you have to participate? And if you don't participate, then it's the season.
Yeah, no reduction.
Yeah,
30 days
no reduction,
plus
yeah.
the weekly counseling. Once a week
If they refuse
counseling.
that, then
That doesn't reduce the consequence.
Right, but
But
if
if
they,
you're
again,
trying-
if we're trying to help the students, if they refuse it, should we then say, okay, if you refuse it, you're done for that season? The 30 days is now that season.
Oh, the next season, basically.
I mean, I would think
That's
if you
fair.
if you refuse and it's recommended by us, wouldn't we say you're not participating in athletics until you
Absolutely,
follow
yeah.
our
That's what I'm saying.
directive?
yeah, that's what I would say.
Like,
Yeah.
that's the requirement, that otherwise you wait the 365
Otherwise,
days
I
till
mean,
you're done.
otherwise you don't play.
Right.
You don't get on a
This is-
team until you do what we're asking you to do to help yourself.
Right.
Right.
And
I
this
think they
is,
would all
this
do
is
it
not a
anyway.
given, like, sports are not just, do you know what I mean? It's a privilege to play sports, it is not a given. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and there are rules and consequences for it, so I'm just having a hard time making it very lax. Do you know what I mean? And because history is saying that it's working the way it was, because we've only had two. So, I think,
So what would you support then? You would prefer to just change, like the past policy was, second offense was
A full year.
cumulative
A full
of the
year.
4 years. Would you prefer to change it second offense, but add the 365? Like, I'm just
no,
trying
it
to
was
get
second,
at what
yeah.
you're comfortable
No,
with.
it was a second, it's always been a second offense in 1 year, correct?
No.
No, so the current policy that we are governed by is first offense is the 15-10.
Right. And then it
Second offense, no matter when it happens,
Okay,
is a full
gotcha.
year suspension from athletics.
Okay.
Extreme.
That's
It
what
is
okay,
extreme,
Yep.
and that's, I think, why we've only had 2
Right,
that
Yeah.
have broken that.
yeah.
Yes. But it is extreme, I don't disagree with you at all.
So the proposed policy keeps the first offense, moves the second offense to within 365 days. That's the one we're arguing about. The third offense would still put them out for a year within
Yeah.
365 days. The fourth offense is consideration for permanent disbarment from high school athletics.
And within this updated policy, we're talking within a year, so if I'm a freshman and something happens, when I go 365 days and it happens again junior year, like now I'm back to offense 1.
Right,
So this policy is far more lax.
right.
It's far more lax than what we currently have.
So what would you want then?
What would I want?
Yeah.
Like, are you comfortable with this, or would you prefer the old policy, but we change it, that it's not the second offense cumulative, it's the second offense in 1 year? Like, I think we have to get rid of that whole 4-year thing. That has to go 100%, because that's
Okay. Yeah,
very
so I'm fine, yeah.
stern. But what would you want? Because you work with the kids, I don't.
I personally think that a second offense within 1 year of the first offense should be an entire season suspension.
Okay.
That's how I feel about
Entire
it.
season or entire year?
Season.
Season.
You should sit out a if because to me, again, like Tamara said, and like some people, like our coaches communicate this policy. I communicate this. It's in like and the in the presence of is a tough pill to swallow. It's a tough thing but everybody knows it.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it. The kids who have played for me know it. The coaches are very clear. We all put this in our program policies, and when we hand out stuff at parent meetings, we go over it, and so everybody knows the in the presence of. Nobody likes it, but everybody knows it. And so my personal would be what we have written. I mean, I understand the 25% is a little bit ambiguous, but for me, a second offense within 1 year, I personally think should be a season. You should be out for a season, because I do think we need to have rules. And I do think that we need to make them strict enough so that this isn't a policy that's being broken a lot, because whether we like it or not, I mean, athletes are in the spotlight, and it happens. And when athletes are at a party, everybody knows.
Mm-hmm. I've heard and Tamara brought up, like, well, if they just did another sport, to serve it,
I mean,
but they'd have to make it, and it's like, that could be like 1 in 1 million, I think, but it's like, I think saying that you're sitting out a season. So if you're a 3-sport athlete, you break your second offenses in the fall, you're out in the winter, like you're done, right?
Well, if it's only in that last 25%.
If it's towards the end of, yeah, so we just need to
Right.
figure out that language of how much into the season.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like how far into the season warrants me being suspended for the next season. Was this season enough, is it 2 weeks? Maybe it's just a hard number.
I think it
Maybe
needs to be a
it's-
hard number, not a percentage.
Yeah.
I think it
Percentage
needs
is
to be-
tough. Yeah.
Like
Percentage
6
is
weeks.
tough.
6 weeks seems
Right.
about the time of
halfway
the season,
season.
right? Of a typical sports season?
How long is the season?
Yeah, so, well, no, longer, 10 to 11 to 12 weeks in that range. So you think of
So
like,
anything less than 5
Not
weeks?
for softball.
softball was mid-March to April to May, yeah, I mean, you're over 3 months. March to April, April to May, May into June.
I don't think it starts till April.
No, it starts March 20th was when softball started, March 19th.
Yeah.
It's usually close to the whole trimester, right? A good chunk of it.
Yeah, our sports basically run a trimester, like it's like fall, winter, and spring trimester.
How would people feel about 5 weeks? Do you think that's, I'm asking your opinion.
Yeah, I mean, 30 day, right? 35 days, 30, 35, so.
We think the 25% is a little bit more fair, cause it delineates between lengthier and shorter seasons. If you say 5 weeks, but it's a short season, I don't know the seasons. of all
Every
the sports,
season
but
is at least 10 weeks.
at least 10 weeks, so that would be 50% of the season, 5 weeks.
Right, so if you were to
That's a
get
lot.
in trouble with less than 50% of the season, you were then,
Then you're out for that season, but you can play the next season, right?
if there's
you've got-
more than 50% of the season,
Right.
yeah. That's a lot. See, I agree. I think that's a lot because you're now, if I'm in trouble right before the 50% mark, I'm now out for the rest of that season plus another. If it's like right after that
Right.
cutoff too, you know,
Mhm.
Yeah.
which is a
It's
lot.
almost 2 full seasons then.
Right.
Yeah, it would be 1.5.
So, any ideas?
I think 30 days is fair.
30 days as the consequence, or 30 days,
As the consequence, yeah.
oh, get rid of the season thing? Now we're changing back to something else.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Would you like
And
us
I'm
to
okay
bring
if
something in August?
if you guys don't agree with me,
No.
that's okay if you don't want it to be a season on the second offense. I'm okay
Yeah.
with supporting whatever it is the group decides.
I think the pragmatic reality is that if it's the last 2 weeks of the season and it's carrying over, you're missing tryouts, you're missing the opportunity to be part of the
Right.
team. The reality is you're likely missing that season anyway.
Yes.
Right.
So we may be arguing over a moot point.
I don't know, I think I would disagree, Meredith, respectfully. I think there's a lot that goes into a season, even if you're not playing. I mean, if you're practicing, you're benefiting from peer pressure,
I don't
team
disagree, but if
physical
you're missing
activity.
tryouts, because
You
you
might
can't
not get to
participate,
play.
you may not be on the team.
Well, that's the
Right.
other
The coach is
piece
gonna be
is in the
selecting
first
those
offense.
Can participate.
In the first offense, you're still practicing. Like, so if I get in trouble for the first time and I'm out for the 10 days, I'm still practicing. Typically what we've done in the second offense is you're removed. So in our new second offense, are you now removed for that? Is it 30 days? Are you suspended for 30 days, but you could still attend and practice? Which is what Meredith's getting at, saying that if you're completely removed, then it's like you're not.
Well, suspended is removed, right? People who are suspended can't go to
Maybe
practices or
it's
show up
the
at
discretion
games.
of the coach. Maybe it's.
No, I don't wanna do that because then it's,
Well, maybe
Yeah.
it's.
it needs to
Then you're
be
putting
a-
the coaches in a really hard
Well,
spot.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe it's you go to the counselor, and there could be some stipulations worked in there.
I think we need to have a cut and dried, and then if something comes up and like we've had this year, that come to us, then we deal with that on a day-to-day.
Individual
But I think
basis.
we need to have something set. I think we can't leave it to, well, if, this, you know what I mean? I
Which
think we
agree,
need to
but
have.
I think we're trying to figure out what that set amount is.
Well, that's what
You
I'm.
did a similar structure as the first offense, and you do 4 weeks, and then cut it down to 3 weeks if they meet with the counselor. And then you can potentially minimize it. I mean, you're gonna have a cutoff no matter what.
Right.
This is gonna be, no one's gonna solve any issues here as far as, like, there's gonna be an instance where
Right.
Right.
a kid is gonna feel like they have the raw end of the deal.
Exactly.
But I think you need to set
Mm-hmm.
and you can't have discretion.
No.
Right? But
Right.
if you have the ability to maybe cut it by 1 week, that
Mm-hmm.
might help slightly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so yeah, so that's a different thing, right? You're now in a penalty as opposed to being suspended,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you're, you know what I'm saying? Like second
Yeah.
offense,
Yeah. I just think a second offense in a year, I guess, I know we're beating a dead horse right now, not really, but we are, because I think we need to focus on how do we all feel about it? Do we want it to be a suspension or do we want it to be a penalty? And then go from there. Do you know what I mean? So do you want them off the team? Do you want them
in a second offense.
in
yeah.
for a second offense?
So my vote is suspend, a season. Now you
A
guys have
season.
heard from me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, that's my vote.
Leave it the way
And
you
again,
guys
that's
wrote
going
it.
from where we were prior to this.
Yeah, which was
We thought it
4
too
years.
strict, so now we're still
Yep.
wanna be, I think we still wanna be strict.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, just reduce.
This is seriously reducing the harshness of
Okay.
the policy.
All right.
So can we just, okay, so if it is a suspension,
Mm-hmm.
let's just talk about that 25% piece. So want to make it, like you said, 5 weeks, 4 weeks, like if it happens and there's less than 4 weeks left in your season, it carries to the next season. Is 4 weeks good? I mean, that's a month.
Yeah.
Yes.
How
And-
does that work for you?
And I think
Is
that,
easier?
yes, I do. I mean, that,
That's easier
less
than
than
a
4
percentage.
weeks, I think
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
better than a percentage, because I think people will argue the percentage, and
Mhm.
it's the, and what about these playoff games and this
Yeah.
game, and
If it's a solid, this
if
is
it's
it.
4 weeks, if it happens, and you have less than 4 weeks left in your soccer season,
Yeah.
it's carrying over to the next season that you,
You're done. Yeah.
that you play, yeah.
Okay.
So the other thing I would say is and it kind of came up previously this year, is this part about there must be a meeting with the parents,
Mhm.
and I would recommend, something signed when they have the meeting with
Mhm.
you, that
Yeah.
you, the student, the parent, everybody signs, they get a copy.
I can assure you, we
it's in
did
your
meet in
file.
that instance, but
Mhm.
I agree
Yep.
that we could have
Have it-
something signed,
A
yes.
written
Yep.
document.
It
And
can
then there's
essentially
just
be
a couple
notice, right,
typos
of
here.
notice of the offense, like
Hmm.
we would do with a
Right.
suspension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A notice, everybody signs, there's no question marks after
Good
the
idea.
fact.
Yep.
That there wasn't.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. So that's what we'll change, and then we'll add that in there.
Should say days.
We'll
And then you
change the
wanna-
25% to the,
Just
Yep.
and
to
we'll
4
add in
weeks.
that there will be
A
a
signed.
signed notice.
Yeah. Upon meeting, what is it, athlete must attend.
And that should be for every offense. That
It
should
should
be in
be.
the
It should be
first
everything, yeah.
offense.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it should
There
be.
we go, okay, so
His or
the
parents will
suspense,
meet.
the substance abuse policy, the student and his or her parent will meet or speak with I think it should be meet, with the athletic director and, to discuss the violation and provide a signed notice. Even just something as simple as that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm wondering why, under second offense, they receive a suspension for the remainder of the current season they are participating in, which might be different for kids that are in multiple sports, where it says, the third offense, they'll be removed from all athletics for 365 days. So maybe it should be a suspension for the current season of the particular sport they're participating in, or all sports? That's
So
under,
that third offense would be for all sports.
no, I know, I'm talking about the second offense.
Second.
It's for the
Current
season they're in.
The season that
When they
they're
have the
in.
offense, that season.
And-
That season they'll be gone, they'll be taken out, and
Right.
then the following season that they are,
If there are less than
But
4
aren't we
weeks left.
basically saying that they may not even make the team if they're gonna be 4 weeks before they can come back?
Yep.
In that case, yeah.
we might.
Yeah.
It kinda keeps them
Honest.
honest,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah, I guess.
I guess that's my thing, is
I just think
I'm
that's-
a believer that it's working because we've had so little, and I think the 4 weeks works.
Including the counseling
Yeah.
piece, okay.
We can add that in,
Okay.
Mhm.
that should be added into every offense.
I was gonna say,
right?
every offense, it should be added in that counseling should be offered and,
Mandatory.
yeah, mandatory, thank you,
Accepted.
that's the word. I
And we
want.
could, we could also write in that refusal to attend counseling services will result in removal from athletics until
Right, yeah.
that
it
is
could-
done,
yeah,
right?
just say
Like,
it could be, yeah, it
yeah.
could be that, without doing it.
I like that. I like
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
okay,
I can get tough on that.
good,
I think so.
Thank you.
all right, sorry.
Sorry, that took a while.
Well, then, that's,
It's okay, but I just, yeah, I
I'd
want us all
rather-
to be, yeah,
I'd rather us all be on the same page with this, yes.
I agree, I totally agree, so.
Yeah.
Any other questions on that one, guys? So you'll just bring it back in August with those, or we'll just note those are being changed, right?
Do you need that for?
Do we need to
Because
vote on
all
that tonight?
sports? Will that be
I'd
You're gonna be
like-
approving the handbook in August as well.
I mean, if the sooner the better, cause we'll open registration and I can have the updated version of that for electronic signature, like in
Yeah.
2 weeks when we have registration going, but I don't,
Well, I mean, we do bring the handbook to you, but typically, the only changes that we make in the handbook after this is what the NHIAA, if they change, so.
Right.
yeah, nothing will change in the athletic
Yeah.
handbook, yeah.
Make a motion to vote on it with the proposed changes as amended.
That's what I would do, is as amended, I would vote on it as we discussed the amendment, you've written it down, what we want. Somebody
Can you
else?
send it out though after?
No.
When do, when do
Yes.
the athletes sign the contract?
When they register, yeah. So we're using a new program to register, and that's being built for us.
Okay.
So as soon as that's ready, we're gonna blast that out and people will start registering.
Okay.
Yeah, so if we just change that wording and send it out and we'll just say, we'll approve it tonight, and, and then just send it to us when it's done.
Okay.
How's that, before it goes out on the?
Yeah.
on the-
Yeah, the
World Wide
registration's
Web.
not open yet, so, yeah, we have a
before it
few
goes on
weeks,
that
yeah.
big World Wide Web. All right,
So motion to approve the student athlete contract as with discussed
Yes.
amendments?
yep,
Agreed upon.
Oh, I said motion to approve the student athlete contract with.
With amendments as discussed.
With amendments as discussed.
these kids know that they're, it's still a full year.
I guess I'm not getting it, but I'll go along with you guys on this.
Okay.
We could always change it.
We can always change it back, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
If next year you have, 10 or more people who have second offenses, we'll know that we made the
We're
wrong
gonna go back
choice.
to
How's
the
that?
old one.
Yeah, all right. Okay, so we have the motion,
Motion to approve the student athlete contract with amendments as discussed.
perfect. You made the
I
motion.
did, yeah.
Second? Second, thank you. Any further discussion?
That was Desiree.
No, Desiree. Any more discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Abstain? We're good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Erin.
Yeah,
Thank
have
you.
a good
Appreciate the
night, thanks.
conversation.
Yeah.
I do. Accessibility Study Committee. Proposed walkway design.
Yes.
I think this is a little
We
more
have new-
straightforward.
No, there's a lot of switchbacks though.
Yeah.
So as you're aware, we have had a fair amount of work going into determining how to access our athletic fields in a better manner. We have procured pricing to create a path that will make it easier for our attendees to access the various fields. However, we do have one area that is a challenge, and that's the hill, accessing the alumni field area from the school area. So there's a fairly steep hill there
Yeah.
that is not conducive.
I had to go down that the other night. I
Right.
knew
We all did.
real quick, because I was late.
Yeah.
So we have consulted with Jones and Beach Engineering as to various options. Unfortunately, that is a rather complicated area that will need engineered drawings, a design in order to create a kind of a switchback path at the proper grade to be able to more easily reach the alumni field. That will entail retaining walls and as I'd mentioned, the switchbacks. So we did receive a proposal to put together that design. So we are asking the board for approval to expend $7,000 for Jones and Beach to design engineered drawings so that we can then get pricing to install that pathway, and then we will have those numbers available for the school board to consider at during this upcoming budget process as to whether we want to pursue that project through the budget process in the fall timeframe.
Where would the money come from? Did I miss that?
I was wondering.
So the $7,000 would be from the current year operating budget.
Okay. Any other questions for Matt? All right. Does anybody want to make a motion?
I would love to.
Okay, please do.
I motion to approve Jones and Beach Engineering to design an accessible path from the school to Alumni Field in the amount of $7,000.
Second?
Thank you. Any more discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. Thank you for the work,
Thank you.
Tamara,
very
and
much.
for Matt, and Matt, amazing, thank you, appreciate it. ESSER CARE funds, CARES ESSER funds?
So in the packet, there's a summary of what we've received with the COVID relief money. It's been issued over several years. CARES 1 we received back in 2020, 21. That closed September of 2022, and we spent all the money, $144,000, close to $145,000 we received and we spent. CARES 2.0, we have through September of this year to finish spending it, but right now we have spent most of it, and we do have a couple of things that we'll be spending between now and September, so we will be all set with that. And then CARES 3, we received close to, well, we have received $1.3 million. We've actually allocated 1.25 of that, and that expires a year from September. So we've been able to use those funds for various things that have benefited the school and the students, and it's been very beneficial to receive that money. And we'll see what happens when it runs out. I mean,
And
you know,
you
we've
spend
been
it
able to, we've been able to incorporate some of those things into the operating budget as we move forward, as far as making sure that we've got the counselors and the mental health support. But it's been very well received.
Well, and it's been very well allocated, I will say,
Yes.
so
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate all the work that goes into this. It's not easy to spend in, well, it is easy, but to respectfully spend it is, you know, yeah, it's like, it's a lot to manage, so I appreciate that.
And again, I do not need to thank Lauren Marston, who's been doing a lot of the grant maintenance and keeping track of things, so she's been a key part of that.
Great, thank you.
That's actually what I was stepping up to state was, I will applaud Bill and Lauren Marsden for their work on managing the ESSER grant. It's a significant amount of money. It has a very important purpose, and they've done exceptionally well planning for and expending it and managing it, because grant systems are not easy to manage. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you both.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Lauren, take a bow. Okay. Next up, we have the athletic equity audit.
So that's a non-public
Non-public, so we're gonna go.
discussion.
Yep. So we have the budget timeline.
So budget is upon us.
It's the happiest time of the year.
I agree.
Right?
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yes, it is.
Right. We do have a little time, but we, the administration, are already preparing. So we have included the budget development timeline. I'll note that we are planning to deliver a proposed budget to the school board by November 6th, at which point we will spend a few evenings together to revise and adjust that budget to bring forth to the budget committee, and that's scheduled for November 27th to deliver a proposed budget, a school board approved budget. The public hearing is scheduled for January 10th, and the deliberative session is February 8th, and we are asking the school board to formally approve that deliberative session date for February 8th.
Thank you.
All right. So could I have a motion to hold the deliberative session on Thursday?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Perfect. All those in favor? Thank you. And
Matt's ready for the next one.
go for it, Matt.
Alrighty, so on an annual basis, the school board is responsible to set the lunch and breakfast pricing. So we have a recommendation for school board adoption. We are proposing no change to either of our lunch or breakfast pricing. We do understand that food security really is an essential component of student learning, and so we're really cognizant of that price sensitivity, particularly in this economic climate, and we feel that we are well positioned at our current rates, that it's not necessary to make an increase and further burden some of our families. So we are recommending that the school board approve a lunch price of $3.75 and a breakfast price of $2.50 respectively for the upcoming 2023-2024 school year.
Thank you, Matt. Thanks for keeping it the same. Appreciate that. Anybody want to make a motion?
I will.
Okay.
I'd like to move that we approve a lunch price of $3.75 and a breakfast price of $2.50 respectively for the 2023-24 school year.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Tricia. All those in favor? Thank you very much. Summer hiring. This one is so that the superintendent can hire, fire, and slice and dice all summer without us, so.
How's that?
Are
It's
you
really
gonna
focused
do
on hiring. But
give her a bad rap.
But it is important that we are able to have people in place for August, and if vacancies occur during the summer, we just like to be able to move quickly so that we don't lose candidates.
I like that. Can I get a motion to authorize the
I'll make
superintendent?
a motion to authorize the superintendent to offer contracts during June, July, and August.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Perfect. Thank you, Desiree. All those in favor? Thank you. Extended learning opportunities positions.
Do you want to start?
Sure. Oh.
Do you want to start? Sure.
Okay, so,
He's
It's
tired.
the end of the school year.
It is. And it's
also
all,
8:15.
we're getting past our good work hours.
so, we've had the extended learning opportunities program for several years now, and we have two staff members in it, Donna Couture, and what we want to do with that is change the title to director, just to make it clear as far as what the position entails, and then the other position is the extended learning coordinator, and the big change in that is that we are now bringing that into the collective bargaining agreement. based on the school approval minimum standards, it does require a certified position. Speaking with the SAU and speaking with Matt and the labor attorney, that since it does require the certification, it should be included in the CBA. Based on, as far as any increasing in budget, it's gonna be pretty lined up with what we're doing now, so it should not, I mean, based on who we hire in that new position, it may have some impact, but it's not gonna be major.
Okay.
Wait, which one's a new position?
Well, the extended, it's not a new position, it's just the coordinator that before it was on a one-year work agreement. It's now gonna be brought into the teacher contract, into the collective bargaining agreement. So they would be, they would receive a teacher contract.
So someone's in that position right now?
No.
Employee resigned.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So we are, actually, we are hiring for that position. We do have interviews scheduled next Tuesday.
Okay.
And with the other changes, just changing Donna's title. So there's, sorry, Donna, there's no increase in salary.
We'll try.
So the
All right.
coordinator is already part of the CBA, is that right?
No, it is not.
Okay, well, and
It's part of
looking
the
at the
budget.
motion, I just see director. Should it be director and coordinator?
It's just in the motion,
Yeah,
the wording of the motion, that's all.
So there are two,
Right.
and they are not, so yes, the ELO, what was the ELO coordinator position is becoming the director of extended learning.
Okay.
Oh.
And then what was the
Facilitator.
facilitator position
Oh,
It's
is now
becoming
becoming
Coordinator. So we need to add coordinator to the motion, correct?
To approve the
It's-
job
so there are two
descriptions and title.
motions.
Two, oh, okay, it'll be two.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yep,
It
so
only
there's
shows
one at the
one.
top and then there's a second motion down
Oh,
below.
I see.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I didn't see it either until.
That's okay, none of us did.
pointed out.
No.
It's
Okay.
Such an amazing
So who would like to do
program.
the first motion?
I will.
Down on the,
It's
underneath
under
it's
administrative content, like down lower.
says second motion, motion to approve the job description and title changes to ELO coordinator.
But it doesn't come up.
Scroll.
It's under public content.
We all did the same thing. We're like, wait, where is it?
Except I don't have a touch screen, so I have to go like that.
After the PDFs.
Maybe her,
There's a second motion down on the, underneath.
Administrative content.
her screen
Right
is
under
probably
that,
different
it says
than
second
Yeah, your
motion.
screen probably looks different, but we can
Yeah,
cut and
you
paste
physically
the
drag
wording
your
in.
screen.
Got it?
So I'd have to add it, here's what you're saying.
So we're gonna do the, yes, let's do the first motion, and then you can cut and paste that text for the additional motion.
So, I'm going to just, okay.
Yeah, your screen looks so different.
Because she's taking the notes and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so can I get a motion for the first motion? How's that?
I'll make a motion to approve the job description and title change to Director of Extended Learning.
Okay. Second?
Second?
Tamara, awesome. All those in favor? Great. And the second motion would be the motion to approve the job description and title change to ELO coordinator.
I'll move that.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Perfect. Perfect. Thank you very much. And you're doing an amazing job with that program. It's talked about around towns a lot of the community partnerships are amazing, but what these kids are contributing to is, you're doing a great job. Keep at it.
Thank you, it's very
Yeah, it's, and I loved the one with Cornerstone, you know, it's, so. Yeah, but
And-
I'm not
and
doing
what
this
they
anymore,
learn.
okay? So, we're done.
We're out of tissues for the year.
Yeah, we have no,
so
I've used up
that's it.
tissues for today, so I love it, but thank you,
And
keep
what
at
the
it.
students learn, I think.
Yes,
Yeah, the
I agree.
skills, yeah, it's
All right, so we need to, let's do first, future scheduled meetings. You guys are taking July off.
Yay.
Yay.
Plus I won't be
I hope you
here
don't
in
mind.
August.
Thank you.
Good night, thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you don't mind.
We don't.
Okay. So you'll see the board schedule there. And then, I'm thinking of doing a retreat for us in August, meeting, as a board to maybe discuss goals and whatnot of, it'll be in Bermuda, it'll be great.
It's gonna be
It's not a
Wednesday
problem.
night on
Yeah.
the Eastman boat.
There you go.
Oh, I don't like boats.
So, yeah, okay, no boats. But we'll probably reach out to find some dates that might work. I'm not thinking of a long thing, a couple of hours type deal of just moving forward where we wanna see us as a board going forward, and also to discuss, we have a new member here, Desiree, and there'll be questions that you may want, and it's nice to do it in a retreat, atmosphere. So just keep that in mind, and we'll have, Rhonda's gonna send out, some possible dates, okay?
Question.
Yes.
Will it sort of dovetail on, like the administrative and teachers retreat? I'm just wondering if we're gonna kind of be on the same page with some of the priorities. Are we gonna be different? Or does it involve?
So I think yours is really more about setting board goals and.
Board goals.
I think it would be helpful if we knew kind of what the.
Well, we have the school, on here, what's the word I want?
Portrait of a learner?
Thank you, yeah, we have Portrait of a Learner, which gives us what,
Okay.
what they
Yeah.
are, what the administration and the teachers
I
are.
just don't wanna reinvent the wheel.
Pardon
Even
me?
if we are in Bermuda, I don't wanna have to.
No,
reinvent
this
the
is more,
wheel.
this is board
Just-
censored,
okay.
like centered. So
Okay.
it's more board and,
Centered.
policies of how the board works, those kind of things. It's
Okay.
not,
Okay.
we're not setting policies, so.
May I just ask a question? Are there any weeks that people know they will be away in August?
I'm gone the 11th to
Week
the
of the 11th.
17th, and then the couple days the week after,
Okay.
21st, 22nd.
I think, is everybody here the first week in August? What did you say? You said the 10th?
Yeah, we leave on the 11th.
On the 11th, so maybe the first week in August?
Mm-hmm.
Desiree, you around?
I'm back on the 2nd of August.
Okay.
I think for
A couple of days.
I think for the foreseeable future in
Okay.
August. Look at that, no plans.
Wow. So maybe, yes, maybe we can do like a Thursday or Friday, Thursday the 3rd, maybe.
Maybe.
We'll see what that has, but, just,
Or the beginning of that
Yeah.
following week.
or the beginning of the following week, we'll just meet for dinner type deal and whatever. Chit chat. Okay, the joint board policy committee meeting is Wednesday, August 9th. The next Winnacunnet school board meeting will be Wednesday, August 16th. And could I have a motion to enter non-public?
Okay, I'll move that we enter non-public session under RSA 91A:3, Roman 2, A through F.